Welcome back to my Colorado Mountain Garden and Homestead. And so my peppers, the ones that are ready, are going to be going into 1 gallon pots today. So the pot is a 1 gallon pot. And as I mentioned in the last video of my grow tent, I create a hole, and I have a bunch of these done off to the side, but I'm only going to show you one plant. And I use the same size cup. So let me bring in my pepper here. Here's my Anaheim pepper. And if it was dropped all the way down, that would be about how tall it is. You can see all of that new growth there. That comes from after pruning. Move that out of the way for right now. So I'm going to take this cup out, and you can see the hole there. Bring it up, oops, here. And that, sorry, let me just get this there we go. That hole is the same size cup as what this Anaheim is. And it doesn't matter if you're using a solo cup or the little black pots or whatever. I start calculating my days to maturity, so to speak, for my peppers when I drop them into the 1 gallon containers, just like I do the tomatoes. So, for most peppers, unless they're the super hots, it's about 70 to 80 days before you might be able to harvest a ripe pepper. Now, a ripe pepper for Anaheims, you can harvest them when they're green, or you can let them go farther and let them turn red. Now, most of the first peppers that I get, I just go to the green stage, and then I cook them on my grill, take the skins off, and then I freeze that in a vacuum seal bag that I just have one of those vacuum sealers for green chili, things like that. Some of them we may use fresh for salsas, things like that. And I said days to maturity is usually 70 to 80 days. And then when you see these, when I come back and you see the peppers in my grow tent, you'll see that I support them with a stick. And this is a bamboo stick. It's not super wide. Let's see if I can get the bottom. I used to use taller skewers, but they didn't last year after year. And I'm going to put this support stick in the soil. And then when the plant's a little bit taller, I will attach it to the stick. And the reason for that is when I move them out to start hardening them off, I don't know if it's going to be windy. If I'm just moving them out onto my deck, there could be a breeze, and I don't want these things to tip over. Now, once these get root bound, I don't have to worry about that so much. But peppers can grow, usually they're between 3 and 5 feet. So when I make the same type of hole with this bigger 1 gallon container for my 5 gallon, I will also put a shorter cage on it, and kind of put the branches through the area of the cage, because once these start getting weighted down with peppers, it just gives them a little more support. You don't have to worry about the branch breaking. Mine are in the greenhouse, so I don't have to worry so much about the wind. But if you plant your peppers out, you could get more wind. I also wanted to mention, if you don't have to have a grow tent. Before I had a grow tent, I could amplify the light and everything on all sides for these bigger plants. I use those emergency blankets that are flimsy. They kind of look like aluminum foil, but they're pretty cheap. You can usually find them in a dollar store or on Amazon online. And I hung those around my grow shelves. So let me set this stick down. And I have gloves on because I've been mixing up soil and stuff like that. And I don't want to have to wash my hands every single time. So I'm going to go ahead, and you won't be able to see this part. I'm going to go ahead, loosen this, and get it out of the container. Now, the one thing you don't want to do, you don't want to pull it up like this because you can damage the stem. So I'm simply going to put my fingers around like that. And I've already kind of squeezed the sides of this, and I'm going to tip it upside down. Now, it's best if the soil is a little bit wet, because if it's really dry, a lot of the soil can fall off. So typically the night before I start doing my up potting, I will water them a little bit. It may not be a full water, but a little bit so that the soil sticks together. So let me just get this one out. Give me a moment. All right. And yes, I'm making a giant mess. So you can see those roots are all around the bottom. They're not all the way up to the top, but that's okay. And boom, plop it right in. So you can see how if you have a bunch of these made up, now I'm in my kitchen, so I don't have a lot of room, but I have some other ones made up and on a small table, just waiting to go. I'm going to water this well. It'll get a plant tag that says Anaheim, so I know what it is. And I will put the stake, the bamboo stake, in as I set it into my grow tent. Then I'll lower my lights down once I get everything in for each row of lights. I'll lower those lights down. Now, yes, the light's gonna be a little bit farther up from, I'm just gonna go from the tallest part. So I still have from where my fingers are all the way to the end. But when the peppers are this size, they don't get leggy like when they're little sprouts. So I'm not worried about that. Plus the reflection from the grow tent, they're getting light from all sides. So that also helps, and they're not going to get leggy. I hope all this makes sense. If not, please ask. You can ask me on my Facebook page. I always put a link down below. You can ask me here on YouTube. This is how I do things. There are many people that do it different ways. A lot of people don't put a support stick, but I never know when I'm moving my plants in and out as they get big, if it's going to be windy. The winds here at my house can really howl at times, so that's what I do. Just going to raise this up a little bit so you can see. And then, oops, as far as the other, I just kind of lightly tap in like that. Oop. So that's it. That's one pepper. I have 20 more to go. Happy gardening.